Hi everyone, my name is Kendrick and welcome to ENFP Mail. Today I get to interview Anissa, so welcome.
Hi.
Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Anessa.
Anessa, okay, there we go.
It's okay. Everyone mispronounces it.
Anessa, all right. So Anessa, when did you get officially type?
I want to say, I'm going to get this wrong. It's March. I can't remember the date, but back in March, I had a phone call with Shannon.
Did Dave also validate it?
Shannon did not say, but the pattern is that apparently Dave looks at all the phone call videos, so I'm going to say that he probably did.
Okay, got it. And what was your official typing results?
MF, NITE, blast, play, consume, sleep.
Oh, I thought you were double feminine for some reason. You're masculine.
No. Nope.
Oh,
Audio.
wow. Okay, I don't think I've typed or I've interviewed anyone that is the masculine, feminine. Oh wait, Raja. You're Raja's twin type.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Okay, got it. So what did you think? How did you feel when you got your typing results back?
I was honestly a little shocked. I was one coin off. I thought I was SI Dom.
Oh,
So I did and I did not see NI coming. I came into the group thinking that I was an INFJ, as everyone does. And I was really convinced on NI Dom. And then after being typed by the group, people were like, no, you're very sensory OI SI. So I went with that. And then Shan's like, surprise, you're NI.
so you were right with the NI, but just not an INFJ.
Right.
And well, what did you feel though? Like, how did you feel when you finally got like the full result?
When I got it back, like obviously I was one coin off, so I wasn't so surprised with the animal stacking. And then Shan was like, how do you see your NI? And then all of a sudden my mind went to, I think Lindsay had posted a video at the time of planning your whole entire year in advance.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap, because I did that with teaching. I literally wrote all my lesson plans for the year. I'm like, oh, there's the NI. There it is.
Is that weird for teachers to do that though, or is that something that like only
It,
INTJ teachers would do?
it depends. Like I've seen teachers that have been teaching 10 years and they teach the same thing every year. So they have literally their whole year planned. But for me, it was like my schedule had changed over. So I had a 50-minute class that got expanded to an hour and a half. And
Okay.
I went through this whole entire freak out of like, I need to have lessons prepared so that way I know what I'm teaching.
Right.
So I wrote it all like that instead of you just build it up over the year sort of thing.
That's interesting. What made you decide to plan for the whole year versus, I mean, what do other teachers do? Like the ones who don't plan for the whole year, what are they doing?
Yard work, working another job, generally those things over the summer. Sometimes they're like preparing for like their tests and everything. So that's kind of what they do. What do I do?
I mean, sorry. I meant like, how do they plan what they're going to teach for the class? Do they do it like the week before or like a few days before? They don't like do it like the whole, like way in advance?
Usually most teachers, like they'll have a week's worth of plans. Like I know some will do it that Sunday, some will do it like over the week every night. They'll plan for the week ahead.
I see. Got it. And then you have the whole year.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That's really interesting. Like as an ENFP, I like the idea of planning for the whole year sounds super like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
But then from also like an ENFP standpoint, I feel like things always change at the last minute and there's something that will happen, like a chaos will happen. So like I almost like don't want to have a concrete plan because I know something bad is gonna throw it off course. So has that ever happened to you? Has that sensory ever came and like you had this 1 year's worth of plan and then the SE came and just ruined everything?
I mean, I guess we could say this year.
Yeah.
But then again, like since my NI is like feminine and really kind of movable, it's just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just like cut out half of this plan and I'll move this here and I'll move this here and we'll get it done in the end, but I'll just move my plans around and shift like all the pieces. So when the virus hit and we had to go online, I wasn't so freaked out, but I knew I'd have to do like a whole bunch of work to work it out so I'd get what I needed to get accomplished done.
That's interesting because that means that having feminine NI actually helps in this case because it makes you more flexible with the future.
Yeah, I was like, yay.
Yeah, because if you had masculine NI, you would be so all in that plan, and then when this happened, I don't know how you're gonna, recover from it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's super cool. So it seems like feminine NI is very like close to NE-ish, because it's more flexible with the future.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Now, you have play second. So what's that like for you to have play second?
So it's ST play, and I basically call it I'm a get it done machine. So if I set out to do something, if like my NI sets a goal, then I am going to just get it done and get it done as fast and quick as possible. So it's just like a constant like, oh, I need to get this done today, I'll get it done. Like kind of what David said about like the 3 things that you need to get done every day. That's pretty much what I do every day, is just accomplish something.
What are the 3 things that he said? I don't remember.
It was like one of his video, like if you had trouble planning, like set aside 3 goals to get yourself like moving each day.
Right. Okay.
So
I
so
remember
for me
that
it's just
video.
like
I just don't remember the context of it. Now, they say that play is actually interaction with the tribe. So it's like pinging off the tribe. You're going back and forth, or you're expending energy for the tribe. So you said you're a machine when it comes to getting things done. And you said that you attribute that to your ST play. So what are you getting things done for the tribe that's ST?
Well, it could be like planning a year's worth of lessons to teach my students. It could be chores that I have to do for here around the house to get done for like people coming over, that sort of thing.
What about the actual like interaction with another human? Like what are you doing with that play?
I mean, I'm on the Discord. I sometimes don't shut up on the Discord. So I guess that's also like the ST play, just me like talking and pinging back and forth in the voice chat with the other members of the Discord.
Because the play is ST, when you're interacting with the tribe, are you trying to get some kind of facts from them? Is that what you're trying to do, or some kind of?
I guess. Just yeah, I guess I'm trying to get information, like especially since we're talking about OP in the Discord, more information about like their experiences on their functions and how it plays out for them.
Yeah, because it seems like if you're trying to talk to the tribe, there's 2 things you would be getting, right? It's either the logic, the tribe logic, or the sensory. So those are the. So if the tribe's not talking about one or the other, would you kind of zone out then, or how does that work?
I mean, it's always like I look at like, to me, I always approach like going into a conversation is I'm always going to get information out of that conversation.
Right.
So I might be learning about like something that I've never seen before. Like sometimes they'll be talking about bands that they like that I've never heard of, and then like we'll have like music videos in the chat or something pop up, and I'll be watching those and talking to them about bands, and we're kind of just like pinging back and forth in that sense.
Gotcha. Now, what about from a more playful situation? So what is ST like, when you're like joking around with people? Like what is that like?
It's a bunch of dad jokes.
Oh, that joke. Got it. That makes so much sense now. Oh my God. I'm so glad you brought that up because I was watching a video of this ENTJ recently, and he said he loves dad jokes. And I was like, what? And then now that you mentioned this, because you have the same play as the ENTJ would. And I was like, okay, dad jokes, I see. Do you have an example of a dad joke with that ST play?
Off the top of my head. I mean, I can give you an example. Like I have a pun of the day board in front of my classroom that I will like constantly update with just like the worst puns ever.
Yeah, do you have an example of that?
Oh gosh. Did you hear about the guy that had his left side removed? He's all right now.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
No, that's good. No, that really helps.
Yeah.
That's really like it's sensory clear and it makes sense and
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Okay, now I know if I hear someone telling dad jokes, they have ST play or close to it.
Something, yeah.
Let's talk about your consume. So you have consumed third, so it's supposed to be like a hobby consume. How do you consume stuff?
Generally through YouTube. That's my main outlet, and it's double masculine SF consumes. So I noticed that I'm watching a whole bunch of like tutorials, like makeup tutorials. So like where people are doing things sort of, and watching them like actually do the process of it, but it's like SF, so it's popular.
Yeah, so do you like trashy TV shows too, and like, you know, like that kind of stuff? Like, do you really
Sometimes, yeah.
stuff like a
Yeah.
guilty pleasure of yours?
Yeah. Yeah. There are some like trashy shows that I've watched in the past. I haven't like I don't watch a whole bunch now, but I guess you could say like watching Jeffree Star might be the equivalent of that on YouTube and some of his stuff.
My girlfriend was just recently officially typed just a few days ago, and she came out as an INTJ, and I noticed that she is always watching, you know, like SF stuff, you know, like whether that be trashy TV shows or
Mm-hmm.
you know the makeup stuff that you talked about, or like those kind of stuff. Like she just likes that stuff. So maybe it's like, you know, you guys love that SF stuff because that's where your consuming is coming from. That's what you're consuming. It's like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like what's cool, I guess, in reality. You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Now, because you have consume and blast in the first three animals, you are an info dominant person. Talk about
Mm-hmm.
being an info dominant person. Like, yeah, let's go with that first before I add the next questions.
Oh gosh. Like there is like an obsession with like wanting all the information and like wanting to take that in and like owning that. Definitely like trying to know more. Like if there's missing information, especially with being an IJ and having IJ problems, like if the information is missing, I'm immediately going to try and find out what the information is, whether that's going through like play or consume, and trying to take that in so that way the information isn't, I guess, missing. Um, as well as like I don't like people lying to me. Um, I'd rather just you tell me the truth up front than having me try to guess around like what are you doing and why are you doing that. Though sometimes I do like, I guess in a way enjoy trying to figure that out, but I'd just rather people just be direct with me and just say straight up front what they're thinking.
Okay, so I can relate with you 100% because I'm also an info dominant person. But what is it about lying that really bothers you? Like, what is it about the act of someone lying to you that?
Usually, like when I catch someone, it's like if I've caught them in a lie, and then like they're just lying to me to my face, I'm like I've like already done so many like hints that like I know you're lying and you still keep on lying to me. I'm like really triggered by that because I'm like, dude, just own up to the fact at this point. Like you're caught. You know that you've been lying to me. Just be honest. Like it's just easier if they're upfront than having to do all that detective work, I guess.
But what if they persist at lying and persist that they're not lying, even though clearly they are lying and it's super obvious, everyone knows they're lying? Like, how would you
Like
react to that then? How, like if they just won't stop, like they just like you said they already got caught, but they still won't own up to it.
like to me at that point, and this might just be like the feminine DE, I just like I'll know that you're lying, but I guess I won't like call you out. But it's just like you've already like bumped yourself down on my like MFI tier list of
Yeah.
like, okay, don't trust that person anymore.
Does this happen a lot with your students then? Is that like where a lot of this experience is happening?
Yeah. Yeah. If I can't like intimidate them, or one of my like co-workers or even the principal can't intimidate them, then I'm going to be like suspicious of that student in the future.
Which kind of student does give you the most trouble, would you say? Like, would it be like the typical EP chaos monkey student, or is it more like the lying student?
It's probably going to be more the lying student. I really couldn't like pinpoint a type on who does that. I mean, I guess everyone does. If there's like a pattern towards one or another, I don't know, but um, it's generally that like the EP students, like I get along with, I guess, because there's like that play energy and that ping back and forth, and especially in my classroom, like you want like a lot of play, especially for an English class, because you're discussing literature and it's more discussion based, so you want to ping back off the tribe.
Right. I think having high play really helps you then in that situation because you're not, you know, the boring person. You know, it's more engaging. It's more like
Mm-hmm.
more human, I guess. Um, Now you do have feminine TE, so do you feel like you get bulldozed by some of the students who are especially double masculine, for example?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that I have like this weird fear of like confronting the tribe, which is why I realized that I had a feminine DE function. But then like if the double masculine student, for example, like pushes too much, then they're gonna see like the cat energy come out.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh crap, I pushed the teacher way too far, and they'll like scoot back and be like, okay, yeah, she's still in charge.
So what's their reaction usually when you deal with like usually the double masculine kid is probably like one of the cool kids too, and like and they're kind of, I guess, trying to question your authority or challenge your authority, like, and how would they react to you when you finally enforce that authority on them? Like, do they back down or do they hold their ground?
They usually back down because they're not expecting it to come from me. Like I see myself as like a person that like takes a lot of hits, but then like eventually that's gonna break down and they're just gonna see this like really angry cat energy come out and they're just like, oh crap.
So since we're talking about like feelings now, let's talk about your sleep last. Did you ever have trouble with your identity as a result of having that sleep last?
I mean, yes and no. It's not like I didn't know who I was because like my NI is connected to my sleep so I can access it. It's more I have difficulty sharing my identity with other people. And like there's like this fear of that people are going to like trample my identity if I share my FI and what I like.
Okay, let's talk about that then. So when it comes to expressing your emotions or your feelings, has that been a challenge at having a sleep last? Because you know what you're feeling, but
Yeah.
it's letting the tribe know that feeling, like kind of like being vulnerable and sharing it with other people. So what's kind of been your experience with that?
I mean, I don't know when exactly it was, but eventually I just learned how to vent my feelings with others. It's kind of like that weird like Effie crying routine that Dave talks about. Like I'll just like go and vent my emotions to other people, and I have like those specific people that'll like bang on their heads like, I don't know what I'm feeling, and then it'll come, oh, I'm feeling this. Kind of like that external play processing
Right.
of what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling that. Um, but it's been a learning curve for that, and I'd say there's still a lot of times when I still hold my emotions back just for the what I perceive as like keeping the vibe of the tribe, happy, or
Right.
like preserving that.
Like
So it does like build up. Yeah.
in harmony with the tribe.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I did have more questions with in regards to the sleep. So do you feel like you have to talk out loud then to process your emotions, or can you do it inside?
It depends. Like I found that art kind of helps me process my emotions. This like whole entire quarantine has helped because I've gotten back into playing like instruments and stuff, and that's usually how I channel my emotions, and I'll just kind of allow myself to feel something. Um, Even writing, like writing books and stuff, I used to do that heavily in high school, and that would be like I'd be writing a scene and like bawling my eyes out, but it was kind of like a healthy way of me just like experiencing emotions and just kind of letting them out instead of just balling them up inside. So trying to get back into that routine, just to, I guess, experience my FI. I'm kind of lost for words there, but yeah.
Yeah. I think what's really neat about the whole objective personality thing is that like a lot of people would assume that the typical INTJ is like robotic, kind of like a robot person that's just getting things done and they have no feelings and whatnot. Then you meet like an INTJ that has play savior. And then when you talk to them, it's smooth, kind of like I'm talking to you right now. There's like a smooth flow and conversation going on and it doesn't feel awkward. But
Yeah.
like, so it like kind of like destroys a lot of the stereotypes. So when you finally became an INTJ officially, but you're like, but you're not like the normal INTJ. You're kind of like, it's not what people would think is an INTJ, like even talking to you, I would actually even assume that you're an ISTJ, but like, because of that high play, it really throws a lot of people off. So what's kind of been your experience with, finally being an INTJ, and then like, do people believe it or accept it, or like what's kind of been your experience?
I mean, with those in the Discord, because like we'll go back and we'll like type each other and like talk to each other and kind of ping back and forth. And a lot of the people in the Discord said that, you know, you don't really seem SI. Like the way that you describe things is a very NI way. But I guess like talking like out loud, I guess I seem more SI just because I'm linear and cohesive. And I don't know if that's just because of teaching. I've learned to ST blast or
Yeah,
what that is.
yeah. I think it's definitely the ST play because you're clear. Like you're definitely clear because of the ST play. Uh,
Hmm.
and then you back it up with reasons because of the blast, right? So it's like everything you say makes perfect sense. There's no guesswork involved when you're talking, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so you're NT first. Let's talk about being an NT. So do you feel like you're a nerd or you like
My best friend, she'll always like be like, "Oh, you're such a nerd." Like, um, just like on the Discord, like I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons, which is probably the nerdiest of all nerd things that you can do.
right?
Um, huge into Star Wars, like sci-fi, dystopia, like huge fan of just those topics. And like even as a kid, I was kind of the nerdy kid that kind of did her own thing and played video games and wanted to talk about space and weird things like that.
Right. That's interesting. What kind of friends did you have growing up? Were they like a mix or was it mostly NT kids?
I don't know if the like, NT, I would say my best friend growing up was probably an ENFP.
Yeah, that makes sense.
just just because like the NI and the NE, we just like ping back and forth on like ideas with each other, and we would like have like text chats and like role play with each other online
Yeah.
through Messenger. So like definitely, I guess you could say that's pretty nerdy there. So
You know, that's always baffled me how like the INTJs and ENFPs find each other. Like it's how does this happen? It's like, like you go to the Facebook group and like you see people who are dating and usually like the ENFP is dating an INTJ. Like my girlfriend gets officially typed, she's an INTJ. I'm like, oh, okay. Like what? I thought she was something else, like an INFP or ENFP, and then she was like INTJ, and I was like, what the like? How did this even happen? Like, how do you like? It's so weird, like
Mhm.
are you married right now or are you dating?
No, not at this point now.
Okay, okay. I was gonna ask if you're like dating someone that's like an ENFP, kind of like Lindsay is, or like Evelyn's dating an INTJ. She's an ENFP, so it's like it's
We
just
just
like
find each other.
it's like it's so weird, It's like what the hell, like. Anyways, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's just weird to me. Um, so let's talk about NF. You're NF third. How do you feel about like NF stuff? Let's start with that, and I have follow-up questions.
Okay. I mean, I guess NF stuff hasn't been too far reached. Like I grew up, I mean, if you're gonna take like NF as like religious and spiritual stuff, I've grown up in a family that's very religious and very spiritual. An active member of my own church. So like I am part of like that sort of study of stuff. We have like I guess what you would consider hippie stores around here, and that's always something that I've been like, ooh, cool, what's this? Kind of like looking at that and having an interest in it. So far as like my religion will allow me to go into like the hippie stuff, but I guess that's like my experience with I guess what you'd say NF.
Now you are NF last,
Yeah.
so you find that you struggle with like figuring out what's the point, like what's the point of something, or like what do you want to achieve for yourself that's for you in your life, like what is valuable for you, long term. Like do you find that difficult for you?
Yes and no. I think the issue with like having NF last, because I'll be aware of what I want. It's just like I see the ST play is always pushing me away from that goal. So there's like this internal struggle, like this like battle between myself. Like the ST play wants to go over this way, and the NF's like, no, 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 you have to come back this way. And so I'm constantly battling that inside.
So the ST is preventing you from imagining what's outside reality, pretty much.
Yeah. It's always tethering me back and being like, you got to go do this instead of, you know, being in your own little imagination and where you want to go.
You know, I met Chris Gillibo in person. I don't know if you know him, but they did a typing video on him on the class actually. And I think they typed him wrong, to be honest, because I met him in person. He's super NF, right? He's like NF to the max. And he's always talking about like, you know, pushing the boundaries of reality, you know, like if you feel like this is all you can achieve in life, actually maybe tenfold it and see what happens, because maybe you can achieve more. But like maybe with a ST kind of prevents you from like, you know, tenfolding whatever it is that you think is realistic for you to achieve in your life. Like what do you think of that? Like, you know?
Yeah, I would say so. It's just like the sensory just always kind of pulls me back. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe I have to rethink my goals or something like that, which is also really hard for me because it's like my double OI. So it's like very personal to me, whatever I have achieved. And I'm just like, oh, maybe I should rethink that. And then if it's really in my masculine FI, I'm just like, I really don't want to change it.
I see. Got it. Let's talk about the IJ box. So what's your IJ box like?
Oh gosh. It's almost like my rules, like setting. Oh gosh, how would I explain this? Like, it's like I have a spot in like my house, or even I'd even say like my classroom, and it's just like my thing, and you can't like disturb that thing. Or it's like a box of like my ideas, and like if you like try to get me out of those ideas, I'm gonna like fight you really hard on doing that.
Do you have an example when someone offended your IJ box or your NI box?
Like I try to keep an open mind, like consuming new things. At least I try to. At least that's what I tell myself. And my friend had me watch The Office, the American version, not the UK version, and it did not strike my fancy. And so now it's like it's not in my box. So every time like she brings up The Office, she like has to rag on me for not liking that. And like inside, I'm just like, please stop, please stop.
Yeah, you don't like it, so you know, don't bring it up.
Yeah.
Let's see. You have let me see here. Consume, play, blast. You have double activated play. So what's that?
Yeah.
Like you're is that why you're super playful? You're like, you know, laughing, joking all the time. It's like, do you think that's from the double activated play then?
Yeah, it's definitely like my goofball side. I'll do really stupid things. I bought a lightsaber once.
Oh, did you? That's funny.
Yeah, and I brought it into my school, and because like I'm always trying to like shake up weird things within my classroom.
Yeah.
And my one kid was like trying to fall asleep, and I took out this lightsaber and I went and like scared the crap out of this kid.
The other kids thought it was hilarious.
Oh, he started laughing like once he realized what it was.
Yeah.
Like I guess like part of it is also just kind of like trolling the tribe with like sensory and stuff like that. Our Halloween prank was like, we had these zombie babies from our trunk or treat, and I hid them in the kids' lockers. Now, I will say discretion, I chose kids that I knew would not have nightmares from having a dead zombie baby fall out of their lockers. So.
Right. Is that you being a double decider then? Because you're kind of like, you're balanced with self and tribe. Like, let's talk about being a double decider for a second.
Yeah, I would say that, because it's like I'm aware of, especially like having the feminine TE, I'm aware of like everyone's like DI.
Yeah.
So I know who would like and would not like that. So I'm able to like balance out and create things that I believe that my students would enjoy,
right,
or know what they'd be able to handle without like having it run into a whole entire fiasco.
Gotcha. Now, when someone offends you, for example, can you still double decide then? Like you know why they said that thing to offend you, but then, you know, at the same time you're still pissed off. So you're like balanced with self and tribe. Like, does that ever happen to you?
I mean, I guess it's at some points it seems a little bit EJ-ish to me. Like sometimes I'll just be so like mad in that moment because you've offended my FI, but I can step away. Like if I have a chance to step away and kind of process it, I can bring it back and be like, oh yeah, that's kind of why they said that. And you got to look at like their perspective and why they're saying this. And maybe I should have done this instead.
Right. Okay. Yeah, definitely very double decidery. You have double activated SE. So does that mean like you do have double activated SE, I think. Is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So does that mean like the typical IJ problems where the incoming chaos is the tidal waves is less intense for you, would you say?
It is. Like I'm not freaking out if I like messed up something in the sensory as much. Like I had made like one of my tidal wave videos on the Facebook group, and I know some of the observers were freaking out because my camera kept falling down, and I'm just like calmly there like, oops, and it felt, oops, okay, we'll try and fix it.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like I feel more intense tidal waves when it comes from the tribe, and it's like chaos at the tribe. Like that's what Shan put it word for word. It's the tribe causes me chaos, and that's where I get more riled up.
But you have double activated play, so you can still handle that then, because
Yeah.
yeah.
But it feels more intense to me in that aspect, I guess, than like something in the sensory just comes and wipes out whatever I had planned.
Right. I think it's because you have feminine NI. So first of all, like your plans are flexible, and then you have play. So the tribe will tell you what chaos is coming,
Yeah.
and then you also consume. So you can also consume and it's not fourth, it's third, right? So you can also see from your own research that chaos is coming. So really, you have like a lot of like kind of like radar that's like going around, and you can sense it coming like your way. It's kind of like when you go to a war and there's like the enemy's approaching, like toot, 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 like yeah, you can see,
Yes.
you can see it, you know. Let's talk about being a masculine feminine. So are you very very auditory? Like the way you learn is very through sound or hearing?
It's weird for me. Like I would say I'm more auditory and visual, but I know that I can't be that. Like I need to have like I need to have auditory and visuals in order for me to learn. Do I have like the auditory, like can I play a song by ear? Yeah, as long as I have the tune in my head, I'll be able to like figure out how to play something. But I guess in learning I learned to need both.
Are you very sensitive to sound though?
Yes. Yes. Growing up, my I used to be like scared to death of like when ambulances would come down the street. Like I would like cry and put my hands over my ears.
Really?
And like toys that made sound scared me to death.
What sorry?
Huh?
What sound scared you to death?
Ambulances, like anything super loud,
I mean,
like as a kid.
said something
Like,
after ambulance. What was it?
like toys.
Oh, toys. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. That's interesting. You're also kinesthetic. So are you pretty good with like learning by using your hands or movement? Or are you good with exercise?
I mean, I exercise, try to exercise at least twice a day, and usually exercise for me is like going on like a 4-mile walk.
Okay.
So I'll do that. Sometimes I'll go to the gym. Like I enjoy like the exercise. It kind of allows me to get into the sleep processing and just kind of get into a zone sort of thing.
Right.
Would I say that I am like a sports guru and I'm going to join the Olympics? No. That's not me. I was the kid that could catch a ball and dodge ball but could not like throw a ball.
Oh, I see. Got it. So that's pretty cool. I think when I was a kid, I couldn't play sports, but I couldn't play sports, I think, because I was an NT nerd and I didn't respect sports, But like,
Yeah.
I think when I was, I think I was the 7th grade when I realized I was a loser, and I felt that if I played basketball, I would be less of a loser. I would be a little bit more cool. So I started getting into playing basketball, and I was shocked how fast I picked it up because I'm masculine, feminine, and like saviour, kinesthetic, and like before long, like it's kind of like you said, you'll never be like the super athlete, but you could catch the ball, right? So I could catch the ball, I could play sports, I could lift weights, I can get strong pretty quickly. So I think being like audio kinesthetic meant that you kind of have it in you, like innate. It's just like,
Yeah.
but you're never gonna be like the athlete, but you're gonna be above average, compared to like
Yes.
someone not kinesthetic. Yes.
Yeah.
Would you say
No,
you're?
I would say that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So what's your take on that? Like when you start exercising, do you feel like you started getting fitter pretty quickly? Like,
Yeah. In college, I really got into exercising, and I would say, probably over the course of 3 months, like I had dropped. I'm guessing because I don't weigh myself.
right.
Like, I'm weird. I'm weird with that, but I'd say I dropped like maybe like 20 pounds, probably put on muscle, like because of that. But like it was a really fast change.
As a result, do you take it for granted then? Because you can get the results pretty quickly if you really just put some effort into it.
Yeah, I'd say especially like the double masculine consume, like even like with food and stuff like that. I don't know if like that's also considered like a part of consume.
Right.
But I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll have like this milkshake and I'll have all these other unhealthy things. I'll lose the weight off eventually.
And do you lose the weight eventually? Like, does that actually happen?
If I actually put my mind to it and like get off my butt and actually go work out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll just like fool myself and be like, I'll do it later down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had the same experience as you because I do eat a lot of bad food, but like I do it because I know I can get away with it. Like if I just go work out for like 3 months, I can get really shredded really quickly. But now I'm getting older, so it's catching up to me. So now I'm like, no, I can't. No, I can't do it anymore. I'm eating cleaner now because I know I can't get away with it anymore. But I think I'm kind of like you. I kind of felt like I could get away with it for the longest time. So I did. I tried to at least. Now, when I would talk to INTJs that have sleep savior, like sleep first, I was told that for them, self-control is very much something that they felt responsible for. So when it comes to eating clean or exercising or following the proper healthy routine, it would be easier for them to stick through it. Now, because you have sleep last, it seems like self-control would be something that is the hardest for you. So what's your experience with self-control?
With me, I mean, I would agree with that. With me, with self-control, because I have the double masculine consume before it, especially if it's like something with a diet, like if it's within my reach and I can consume it, I will consume it. So like for me with self-control, I find that with anything, unless it's really in my within my FI and I really want it, I will struggle with like, say, like with dieting or as an example, like I will struggle sticking to it just because of other things are there, like constantly pressuring me to, like eat the unhealthy food. So
Yeah.
like saying no is probably the hardest thing for me to do at times. And I have to like keep reminding myself, like, you are allowed to say no to get to where you need to go.
Yeah. And your SE is masculine. So when you're gathering, it's aggressive, right? So you're gathering, in your case, you like to gather food.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's your obsession. So do you fear chaos at all? Or is that something that because of that double activate SE, it's not like the biggest life problem for you?
I mean, the chaos still has to go through NI. Like NI is still like my dominant function. So I can try to hack the NI in a way if I can find like a pattern, be like, oh, this conceptually is the same thing as something you've done before. And then I'm not as like afraid of doing that or doing a new thing, but it's still, I guess, difficult for me to do something out in the SE that I've not like experienced before.
Got it. So it has to be within your NI box still, regardless.
Yeah.
They said that EPs and IJs or double deciders in general have problems with fear, and the fear is coming from your fourth function. So your fear is the SE. So what problems with fear do you have or do you experience usually? what is that reoccurring fear that you experience?
Reoccurring fear. I guess it would be like the unexpected sensory chaos down the line, I guess is the best way to explain it. Like, for example, in high school, super nerd, super studied, even in like college, I had this I would not recommend this at all. I had this routine where I'd spend 5 hours a day studying because I wanted to get a 95 or higher on my test. So I would literally like memorize my textbook word for word.
Wow.
So if you've ever taken like a gen ed and you know you have like 30 chapters by the end of 50 weeks, I knew the book like forward and back, word for word.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Don't recommend this. Do not recommend this. But that was, I guess, like the SE chaos. Like I wanted this outcome. I wanted like 95% or higher. And so in order to achieve that, like I had to like control it like aggressively.
Yeah.
So I'm better than that. I'm better with that now. I realize how stupid that is. But there's still things like down the road where I'm like, oh, this thing is, how does this fit into this whole entire thing? Is this going to affect me like later down in the road? I guess is still like the SE chaos in a way.
That sounds like an amazing power. Like from an EP hearing that, I'm like, oh my God, that sounds so cool. Like you memorize the whole book. Like no, like, you're foolproof. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can trip you up, you know? You know, like, because the EP will just wing the test, right? Like if they just, you know, so that's really cool. I had a question that it just flew out of my head. It was an important question too. Oh man, I hate when that happens.
I've been there.
What's that? Yeah, no, I had it ready and it disappeared. Oh Jesus.
Pull it back. Pull it back.
Oh my God, what was it? Oh my God. Okay, well, it's gone. It's not coming back. That's so annoying. Okay, I don't know what it was. Now I'm stumped now. I am stumped. I don't remember the question I had. What was
It's probably one of those things in the back of your mind. If you like talk about something else, it'll surface.
What's that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll surface, but then like I find out as I'm getting older, I'm forgetting things. Like I'm just forgetting things now, and it's just like I my head, and I'm thinking like maybe I need to take some supplements of ginkgo biloba or whatever, you know, get like my memory better. I do have masculine SI, so I still remember things really well, but like short-term memory is awful. So
that's me. I call it my play brain. I have an ISTJ mother with like double activated MSI, and she's like, you have the worst memory ever. I'm like,
is that short-term though or long-term? Because my long-term memory is amazing. My short-term memory is
short-term, it depends. Because if I get like sidetracked and go off like in my own NI world, I'll completely forget what I was supposed to remember.
Right.
Long-term, it's like hit or miss. Like I guess the details are more fuzzier than I guess what masculine SI would have.
Gotcha.
I mean, I bring myself to my masculine SI mother. She's just like, your memory is terrible. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Do you find that you have conversations in your head then as a result of having like play savior and like being auditory?
Oh yeah. Kendrick, we have had like 20 conversations so far prior to this. So
What's that?
We've had like 20 conversations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've already chatted with you in your head. Was it the same conversation as we're having now, or like similar?
It's similar, like just because I know like what you do, like it's in my mind. It was like having this Zoom conversation. You ask me questions like, oh, what would I say if he asked me this? And then like you'll ask me this question. It was the same thing with like the phone call with Shannon. I had like all these like random questions that Shan would ask me and I would like answer back.
Yeah. That's kind of weird because I do the exact same thing. I've like before talking to Dave, I already had a conversation with Dave in my head, you know, like so I get what you're saying, but it's I think it's weird that it's happening, you know. Because, like some people say they don't have conversations in their head, right? So I'm like, I don't know what that's like. That's so weird, you know.
Yeah, that would be, I don't know. I guess it's just the play energy, like picking up on people, and I guess even like the intuition as well, being intuitive doms, like picking up on patterns and then just going into the imagination of that.
I'm wondering if it's the play dominant or the auditory, you know, because like you want to hear something, or is it this the play that you want to engage someone on interaction of some sort.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I maybe it's a little bit of both. I know talking to like visuals, like they'll do that, but it's like a more visual conversation. I'm gonna shout out Savannah. She's gonna hate me for doing this, but she's a visual ENTJ jumper.
Yeah.
And she's talking about like how in her visual, like having conversations, she's like imagining people at like a table, physically like having a conversation with each other that way.
Is that who I need to interview next? Because you guys are, there's a chain of shout outs happening now.
I mean, I'll throw Savannah under the bus, but it's up to her.
Yes, please throw her under the bus. Look, I didn't even know you existed until, you know, like my recent interview, you know.
I lurk around.
What's that?
I look around, like on the Discord, on the Facebook group.
You got called out, right? So that's
yeah. Amelie called me out.
Amelie called you out, and now you're calling out someone. So it's like
you're gonna interview the whole entire Discord before it's done, Kendrick.
Because I feel like this Discord place is like a bunch of people that don't go to the Facebook group, and a lot of them have not been interviewed yet. And I'm like, oh my god, yeah, you were saying you wanted to say something?
Well, I mean, we're like a whole entire, well, it's funny. I can't say everyone here, but it's like double activated play, sleep lasts are on the Discord.
Yeah.
We're like, it's now SF cool to get phone typed. So everyone's pretty much gone through the phone typing process instead of the video typing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're our own little cult. And
okay, I need to get on this because I need to find more people to interview. So I'm gonna go there. And I'll be like, who wants to get interviewed next? And because everyone has played Savior, like me, you know? Yeah, because like I find that when I'm trying to find interviews with like sleep consume or consume sleep, it's like, it's so challenging for me to get them to actually commit to the interview. Mm-hmm. And then even the day of the interview, they're like freaking out. And I'm like, don't worry, it's gonna be easy because I'm playing Blast and your sleep consume is gonna be like normal, you know, like there's gonna be that natural flow. And there is, you know, so, but I have to like extra reassure them. Well, like if I'm gonna try to interview someone that plays Savior, they're actually asking me, say, can you interview me? You know, they're the one that's asking to get interviewed, right? So it's like, you know, it's a little bit easier for me as an interviewer to hunt your people down, you know, like, you know. All right, so I have last two questions for you, and then we'll wrap up this interview. The first one is, you having sleep last, what do you think you can do in the future to improve on using your fourth sleep animal better? And what advice can you give to people who are sleep last to improve on working on their animal, especially the INTJ version of the sleep last?
A lot of it, like some of the things that I've been doing is like an audio blog. Though the issue with that, and I guess it's also like the consume third thing, is like I don't want to watch myself do an audio blog. So if you're comfortable with like watching yourself and actually talking to yourself and processing your feelings out loud that way, like probably how you would normally do when you bonk your head on the tribe would be to do an audio vlog. If you're someone that likes blasting and writing it out, then do like journaling, because that definitely has helped me with sleep. And also just like tapping into like your NI and your creativity, whether it's through like music or art or writing or something like that, can also help you like figure out your NI and also like get to the core of like your feelings, and just learning that emotions are okay and it's okay to feel emotions.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think that the biggest message for what do you call it, like demon FI, is that emotions are okay and it's okay to talk about it, you know?
Yeah,
because like I'm talking to like a lot of NETs right now, and they're like, oh, what's that? Like it's such a foreign place, you know, that like, you know, being able to talk about your FI. But I think as you get older, you can like tap into it. You know, we're still a double decider, right? So eventually at the end of the day, it's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah.
We have functions that are different. So I have NE and I have SI. Do you have any questions about those functions, or do you have the handle of it already, would you say?
I mean, we have like 3 ENFPs already on Discord, but I guess I just gotta ask, like, how do you see so many possibilities? Like with feminine and I could see like maybe 4. at the most. And then like my NI is like, nope, that's way too many. Let's bring it down to 2 and let's try to break it down to 1, because NI is always like narrowing it down.
Yeah.
But like I say, like the ENFPs are like, the possibilities are endless. Oh my God.
I don't know. Like I have feminine NE, right? So it's gonna be extra crazy. But then I also forget things all the time too. But like you know that at the start of our interview, you asked me like we had this really I had this really profound thing that I learned from you, and I completely forgot already with that. And I know it was I remember my I have masculine FI, so my feeling knows that it's super important. But I already forgot, and I'm like, oh, I'm so annoyed that I forgot what it was already. You know, like that concept that I learned from you. But like in terms of the possibilities, like it's hard to talk about your saviors, you know, especially if it's your first function. But like it's like when I talk to INTJs or INFJs, like how do you not see this? Like there's so many options available. How can you just narrow yourself down to just that one thing? You know, because there's so many of them. Like you can go this path and this path and this path, and all these paths are good. They're all good. Like I can see them all leading to a good path, you know. Like I pretty much have to filter down with my FI, like which of the path I like the most, you know. Like let's say with career, for example, like on my day job I work as a personal trainer and I work in the fitness industry, so I can see myself going deep into that path and going 100% NI on that. And at the same time I have a travel blog and a travel YouTube channel, and I can see myself going, you know, deep into that too, like NI deep in that travel area, right? You know, a little bit off topic, a little bit here. I did notice that INTJs, if travel is in their NI, they actually like to travel. So it's there's like this weird preconception that, you know, like INTJs don't, or INFJs, they don't like to travel or they don't like to leave their box. But I think your box is abstract. It's not like physical, right? So, you know, if like travel is inside your box, then you would do a lot of it. But anyways, I'm getting a little bit off topic here, you know, topic.
Okay.
So anyways, back to trying to dial it back. Then I have this ENFP mail channel, so I can see myself going deep into that. So it's like hard for me to commit to like where to go deep, because I can see the benefit from each of them and I like all of them. But like now that like if I really look like at my FI, I can say, okay, the place where I really want to go deep is travel and this personality stuff. Those two. The fitness stuff I don't really care for so much anymore. It's just my day job that pays my bills. But you know, in terms of going deep, like because I'm trying to learn how to narrow it down, and it's hard. I have to use my FI and SI to narrow things down. Like kind of like my sleep. I have sleep last, right? So I have to like ask myself like, okay, what really matters most to me? What brings me the most joy? You know, looking back in the past, because I have to use SI, and that means I have to look back in the past, right? So I'm like, well, what brought me the most joy and what I obsess about the most is travel and personality. Travel, personality. So at least I can like have the peace of mind to come to terms with like, okay, it's not quite the IJs, just the one thing where you can focus on the one thing. But I think 2 things is as good as it's gonna get for an ENFP, you know. You know, and it's still pretty good because at least it's not like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you don't get anything done, right? You know, at least I still have options, and it's 2. So like that gives me like that feeling of like less anxiety, you know. It's like, oh, I don't have to narrow down. Phew, you know. I still have 2, you know.
You're kind of like hacking your mind away in a way for that.
Yeah. I have to like I don't know, trick myself, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But yours is the opposite, right? Because like in the Facebook group, remember I was talking about like your top 10 bucket listing?
Yeah.
And then Raja said, oh, it's so weird for IJs, coming up with a list of 10 is so difficult. But for the EPs, narrowing it down to just 10 is so difficult, you know? So, you know, like for you, increasing is the difficulty. For me, it's like reducing is the difficulty, right? So what part of increasing or gathering is it like you find difficult? Like what part of that is the challenge for you?
It becomes overwhelming. Like if I have so many things to juggle in my hands, eventually like I'm not going to be able to juggle all of it.
But
so I need to like use my FI and narrow, like I like this, and this. Now it's more manageable to juggle.
But I mean, what gives you permission to expand? Because for me, I need permission to narrow down. So what gives you permission to expand?
I guess if I like it, or I've become like bored, I guess, with what I've like got in my box, and I'm like, okay, I guess now it's time. Like it's like you kind of become, I guess, bored of your box a little bit, and now you're like, oh, now I need to get something new that I can like play with and learn more about. But
Okay,
it's not like I'm reaching for like 20 million things.
so I'm really curious about that. So what are the reasons why EPs, ENFPs, me especially, that have trouble sticking it through with just one or two areas? It's because we get bored so easily, right? So I've always wondered, like, don't you guys get bored of like talking about the same stuff over and over again for like the next like 20, 30 years? Don't you get bored? Like, don't I just get bored of this?
Like for me, I see it as like a repeating cycle. So like I'll just like explain it in like concepts of like what I've done with YouTube. Like I started out in YouTube, I guess during college, as like my like after I've done like insane amounts of studying just to like calm down. Like I would watch PewDiePie, and like I watched him like religiously for probably like 2 years.
Yeah.
His content changed. It kind of bored me. So I went on to another thing. But then like I found myself just like last year started watching up his channel. Like, oh yeah, I used to watch PewDiePie. That's a cool thing. I'll go back and watch that. So it's like I go through patterns of new and then I'll come back. So it's usually just like whatever I'm doing at the time, at least in my case, is what I want to talk about all the time, because like that's what I'm obsessed with.
It seems like the time period before switching to something else is quite long. Like 2 years is quite long. Like ENFPs, you know, like with you, for example, you said it takes you 2 years before you got bored of PewDiePie and you switch to something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like for an ENFP, it's like almost like a weekly thing, you know? Like you have the weekly hobby and then you get bored and then there's the next hobby next week, you know? Um, I'm also curious, do you like the PewDiePie stuff because he's SF? Like the stuff he's talking about is like SF stuff or ST stuff?
Yes, I mean, I'd say even with like it's so weird using my consume for my DE. Like I wanted to consume what I thought would be really popular amongst like the students that I would be teaching.
Oh, I see, I
So
see.
that way I could connect with them more and be more of a cool teacher, you
Do you
know?
watch PewDiePie? Do kids like PewDiePie?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a what did I miss thing, and I have a picture of him because he recently did Minecraft. Like that's what I started watching him for, was his Minecraft videos and his Amnesia videos. So like when he started that up, I was like, yay, he brought it back. And I have a picture of like Jurgen when Jurgen died. Spoiler alert, but for people who might be watching that series. So like I have a kid that's like super into PewDiePie and will just make PewDiePie references like all the time during class.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize he was popular amongst like students and stuff. I don't watch his stuff. I can't stand his content. But like, you know, I don't have SF consume, right? So like I have NT play and I have NF consume. So those are the two things that I like to consume when I watch stuff online. Like I like to watch like INTJs. Like I'm obsessed watching. Like I probably watch all the INTJ people online.
Okay.
And they're crazy. They're really crazy. Like I was watching Robert Kiyosaki, who's an INTJ, and he was saying like, "Is the coronavirus real?" And I was like, "Oh my god, this person's crazy." It's been 2 months already. We're in quarantine. How can you even ask this? You know, like you know, I just like he's consumed last two, I think, and like I told Dave about him, and then Dave's like, "Oh my god, so embarrassing." You know, like you know, like he's like, "Oh my god," you know, like. And
Sometimes I wonder though with us, like, because sometimes I'll just like make up something just to entertain myself and like laugh about it. Like I'll make up a conspiracy and see how many people will go with it.
yeah, okay. Last question. Talk about your conspiracy, your obsession with conspiracy before we wrap this up.
Oh my gosh. Like, what was it? I'll make up like on the Discord, like I'll make up like some kind of stupid conspiracy. Like I've come up with like so many weird conspiracies about the coronavirus that like to me it's just like entertaining and like it's like play. So everyone on Discord will like, oh yeah, and I totally saw this and these are the connections. Like there are so many facts, guys, so many facts about this. So like one of my random conspiracies about like the coronavirus, I'm like, obviously the reason why they're staying in why we're staying indoors is because the sun has a coronavirus. We're getting the virus from the sun.
That's a dad joke. It's such a dad joke.
Yeah.
My theory for the coronavirus was like the government is losing a lot of money. You know, a lot of government are in debt right now, and they can't afford to pay all these seniors for their pension. So the coronavirus is killing all the seniors, right? So
Mhm.
it's like a conspiracy against them to like eliminate them and reduce government spending. That was my conspiracy theory when it comes to like, COVID. You know,
I mean, I love reading them. Even my dad, he'll watch Ancient Aliens. That's a hoot for me.
you love that stuff too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, my mom loves like conspiracy theory, like who shot JFK. You know, like that kind of stuff. You know, like I think my mom's an IJ, so yeah, I think my sister's an IJ too. She's always obsessing about conspiracy, like talking about like, you know, the food the stuff that they put in food to kind of poison you. You know, it's like a conspiracy against, you know, people. You know,
Mhm.
and then obviously I'm an EP, so I entertain it, right? Because I have an obsession with things also, right? Like you guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, like when I go to my day job as a personal trainer and I train with clients, I find that my EJ clients, they don't last long with me. And same with IP clients. I always end up with EP or IJ clients because after a while, like that EP, the EJs and IP, they want to talk about people, right? And I'm not
Mhm.
interested about talking about people. I want to talk about things, right? Like like I have an ICJ client and we're talking about the weather and we're like so excited about the weather, which is stupid, right? Like why is the weather exciting?
Hey, I'm there too. Like that's like my like opening thing sometimes with parents. So the weather.
Yeah, but then you actually think it's interesting, right? You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's at times like then I'll get like more information. Like, oh, it's gonna rain. Oh, I guess I better like.
Yeah. And then I'm like, really? I'm actually interested too. It's like, really, it's gonna rain. You know, it's like,
Gotta prepare myself.
all right, Anessa, thanks for doing the interview. That was great.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for
So
sure. Yeah,
I'll
no.
prepare Savannah in advance and we'll get this Discord thing rolling and
Yeah, find a bunch of those people, throw them under the bus, and it'll be fun. All right. All right, so I'm gonna hit the stop button now for to stop recording. And now, bye everyone.
Bye.